Welcome back to pre-spring here on the farm. Hope you guys are doing okay. We're doing all right. It's been a weird year and we are all fine. We're all healthy. We're all isolated here and it's not a bad place to be isolated, although last week we did get about 6 inches of snow and things were covered for most of the week last week. Today is Saturday and it's about 50 degrees and I'm going to go in and have a look at the bees today. I'm a little concerned about the food stores and the hives because we have had some warm days where I know the bees are all flying, but mostly they've been cooped up in their hives. And there is almost nothing to forage out in the real world here. So the red maple buds are starting to swell on the trees, but they're not going to open for probably another week. They need some really warm days and some sun, and we are not going to get above 50 degrees next week. So that's at least a week away to get some real, like, natural local forest pollen to these bees. So I put pollen substitute out yesterday to refill their pollen sub feeder. They're going at it. I'm going to see what they got for food stores in there because there's just absolutely nothing nectar-wise. So hopefully they're okay in there and they can hang on for another couple of weeks before things really start to open. All right, starting off like I always do with Carniolans. Hello. Solid cluster over there. Definitely eating sugar. Let's see what they got for food in here. Tiny bit of food there. There's honey there. Oh, they got plenty of food in here. Completely full. This is just a very small cluster. Do we have a queen? Yes. We have a queen. Right in the middle of the frame there. She's been laying. Yep, we got eggs. Okay, we got a tiny cluster and she's laying. Very tiny cluster. Carniolans are small, but they got enough food in here, no problem. There's just not a lot of bees. So this is another reason why I have this insulation on the hive this late in the year. It's late March. We are still having nights down in the 30s Fahrenheit, even dipping into the 20s Fahrenheit. And you saw the size of that cluster. That was a cluster that fit on maybe 1.5 frames of food there. And this is a big hive here to keep warm. So this is helping them out. Plus this lid, it's just a little extra bit of help. And we're still gonna have freezing nights for another month. All right, Cornelia. This is the weakest hive that was alive a couple weeks ago. And I'm thinking that they probably weren't gonna make it. I'm thinking they're gone. We knew this was gonna happen to Cornelia. They have succumbed to cold. Yeah, I mean it's filled with food. Right here is the last of the cluster. This is what I heard a couple weeks ago when I was in here. I heard him humming in here, but it was just this tiny little bit. That's all that made it. And there she is right there. Right there. This hive may have just died. They did not have the strength to keep this whole thing warm. Sad times right there. Cornelia hive, rest in peace. Actually, there looks like there's brood in there. Look at that. I don't know if that's from last fall. That looks like it could have been the remains of the cluster right there. She was still laying. Looks like they were trying to make it happen. Okay, Cornelia hive is gone. Carniolan hive is weak. Balboa, let's see. Feel heat coming out of here. That's good. Hello, Balboa. Yeah, they look great. I'm not even gonna open them up. They look fine. They look a bit more active and bustling than they did even a couple weeks ago. So I'm thinking there's probably brood in there. There's probably hatching bees. Okay, Balboa, thumbs up. Finally some good news. Okay, I haven't opened the Russians since last fall. Just wall-to-wall bees all the way across. There's no worries with the Russians whatsoever. That's why I don't bother opening them up. They're just always fine. Nice little cluster of bees right there. Plenty of sugar in here. 4 frames of bees. There's a lot of nectar in here. We get brood. Just a little bit, but we got brood here. Oh, she's right there. Queen Lucy. Way over there. Okay, you're good. Okay, our little oddball hive. Just feel heat coming out. Slamming. Bees all the way across. And I see food over there too, so they are all set. Woo! You can just feel heat coming out of here. I would say this hive is slamming. Bees all the way across. Totally chill, wall-to-wall bees. Very nice. Every time I've opened Frankie in the last couple of months, they've been just buzzing, humming, super loud and hot. They just hum. Woo! Wall-to-wall bees. Just gonna have a look and see what they look like in there for stores. There's a frame of capped honey. Oh, there's plenty of honey in here. Pollen frame. Yeah, look at all that brood. It's already hatching. There she is, look at that. Brood and laying queen. Okay, I'm not worried about this hive at all. Last time I looked at this hive, they had not come up to start eating the sugar yet. So they've done that in the last couple weeks, 3 weeks. Not low on food. There's food all the way across. Looking for brood. There's the queen, and there's the brood. So she's laying. That is not a queen cup. It's just some weird comb. Brood on both sides of this frame. So she's been busy. Okay, no concern on that hive at all. Yeah, there's food all the way across this whole hive. I mean, the bees, we had a really mild winter, and it's like they didn't even go across 3 frames. This was the next weak hive that I had after Cornelia. This was the next one that was a little questionable. Ooh, they don't look questionable at all. They look fine. Just like an untouched frame of honey right there. Honey and nectar. Full, completely full. I mean, granted, these bees still need to get through 2 months of, being flying and being active. And there's not going to be a lot of nectar for the next couple of months, so they're going to eat a lot of this. And plus, if they start having brood, they're going to start feeding larvae, and they're going to need all this. But they're coming out of winter full of stores. And this is just the top box. All these hives have a full medium below. Tons of brood. So yeah, I mean, there's hatching brood. It's not just eggs. I'm seeing hatching brood, which means a month ago we had laying queens in these hives. Oh, there she is, right in the middle. There she is. Okay. She's been very busy. This hive is doing great. Not worried about this hive at all. Okay, Adrian hive. Yeah, they're totally chowing on the sugar. That is a vibrant hive. I can see stores right down over here. They're doing fine. Slamming. Okay, this was our little rainbow swarm. We saw a double rainbow. We caught this little swarm over on the arborvitae tree. They're little, but they were alive a couple weeks ago. Not so little anymore. They are alive and doing just fine. They've eaten a lot of sugar. They're little, but they were small going into winter. It almost looks like they haven't lost too many bees. And I'm pretty sure this hive swarmed from the little oddball hive. Yeah, they didn't lose a lot of bees over the winter. They kind of stayed about the same size. It's just like a long skinny cluster over here on these two frames. Here's our queen. Looking beautiful. Is she laying yet? Oh yeah, lots of new eggs. All right, there's tons of new eggs on that frame right there. So she's there and she's laying. I'm gonna stick a frame of honey over next to where they're working here so they don't have to go so far for it. This one is pretty empty here. So queen can move there, but this is gonna be honey right there in the center of the hive. There you go. Okay. All right, so we have, is that 11? 11 out of 13. I think that's gonna be the final tally for 2020. Last year was 11 out of 12. 11 out of 13. All right, I just came over here to the Cornelia hive to clean things up. I thought that this was a totally dead hive, but this frame of bees that I pulled out that I thought was the dead cluster is not dead. They are in deep torpor. They're actually moving. I took the queen out of here, put her in a little cage to separate her. I may drop that frame into another hive so they have a fighting chance. This is the other half of the cluster. I don't see any movement on this side, although they do feel like they could be alive. They're soft. I'm gonna throw these into that little, the little swarm. So there's nothing on this frame, just an empty frame. Get the bees off of there. And I'm gonna put in, this is the frame from Cornelia. That's the last of the bees that were in there, and there's also tons of food in here, so I'm just gonna put them in here. Hopefully the heat from the hive will bring them back to life. And there's just this little handful of bees here. There's a few bees inside cells, but I'm not going to get them out. Oh, maybe I am. They all just popped out. Okay, well, I think I probably just saved 100 bees. Maybe. Doing my best here, folks. All right, so Cornelia wasn't actually completely dead. They were almost dead. They were at the very end. That little cluster was hanging on, and the queen was there, and they were on her, and they were holding on for her. I took the remaining bees that sort of came to life after I pulled them out of the hive, and they got a little light on them. They started very slowly moving around, and I put them into the swarm hive, the little rainbow swarm. So hopefully there's warmth and energy in that hive, and they all kind of come out of their torpor and can join that colony. So there's one more thing. I pulled the queen off of the frame, and she was not moving at all. But I put her in here. I'm gonna take her in the house and see if she starts moving, and maybe I'll feed her a little bit if she's alive. I don't know what I'm gonna do with her. I have a feeling she's not alive because she has not moved at all, but I'm gonna heat her up and see what happens. So that's the story. The big gist is I am not worried about any of these colonies for food. They all have plenty of food, like a lot of food. 11 out of 13 are alive, and 11 out of 13 are doing very well. There's one, no. Oh yeah, the Carniolans, actually, which was my booming hive last year, is the weakest hive at the moment. There's only like 1.5 frames of bees on there. There's brood in there, the queen is laying, and she's in there. So hopefully they bounce back. But everybody else that I actually pulled frames from, I saw brood on. So they are laying. Some of them have been laying for like a month, and we're off and running. They have pollen substitute in there. There's stores in every hive, and we got at least a week before the red maple start popping, and several weeks before we still start having nectar. But I'm not worried about these bees at all. They all have food and they all look great. I do have more videos coming up, and I got some other things going on around here that I'm filming, and they will be coming soon. But stay tuned. I'm not going anywhere. I can't go anywhere. I'm here, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching.